All right, everybody. The last would you like why I would rather go to blank over blank? Did a little bit like a little bit okay so far. Got 9 views on it, two likes, 2 comments. Just doing numbers compared to a lot of my other stuff. So what we're gonna do this time is, would you rather go to Haran, like Dying Light, or would you rather go to 28 days later England? And I know a lot of people are going to be like, what kind of question is that? It's both a rage virus. Both of those are rage viruses where there are runner zombies. But the difference between both of them is in Dying Light, they aren't all runners. There's some slow ones that bite you. Yeah, they bite, but there's also a virus suppression medication that you can find called Antizin. If you work for Riot, I mean, you're gonna have to deal with Kyle Crane, but you get basically infinite Antizin and like food, and all you have to do is just like hurt people. And in 28 days later, if you get even a drop of infected blood in like your eye, you got like 5 minutes left to live. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm going to go over the pros and cons of what it would be like to live in Haran during the initial outbreak, and then about a week after the outbreak, and then after that, we're gonna go after the pros and we're gonna go on about the pros and cons of the 28 Days Later universe, living in England at that time. Now, at the initial stages of infection in the Haran virus and Dying Light, everybody is a runner. So initially, what you're going to be doing is basically trying to avoid, the infected. But at this stage, they're all virals. So what you're going to need to do is essentially barricade yourself in a house. And I'm sure this is before volatiles started showing up and mutating. Initial outbreak, I don't think volatiles existed. I think they showed up about a few days afterwards. So you'd be safe just barricading yourself for 5 days. 5 or 4. Then, I feel like at around like the 3rd day, the virals will begin to turn into shamblers, the usual biters that we see in game and stuff like that. The ones that Kyle Crane pop you pop their fucking heads like grapes with like table legs and shit in the game. And then, at around day 5, the first volatile will be created and mutate in the depths of like a metro where like a bunch of crashes happened and somebody got infected. The virus having so much time to itself in the depths of a tunnel and like a living host, it will mutate the living host to be able to be unbelievably strong, unbelievably fast, but only be able to go out at night, making them like enhancing their eyesight and making them very dangerous predators. And a few people, after I think I'd say after I think like the week part, people will start to die in their homes from volatiles invading them, and that's not good. So people will start to catch on. Hey, we don't see any of these big monsters during the day. So what if it's the UV light from the sun that's keeping them at bay? How can we harness this? So at around, I think, probably a week and a half, the tower will be in Riot will start to use UV lights and set up safe houses around the zone, which will eventually, one by one, be taken down and then reset up by Kyle Crane. Now, this is essentially the part where you choose which faction you're going to be a part of. Now, that depends on if you are a goody two-shoes or a I don't give a fuck as long as I survive type of person. Would you rather live in the tower, where, yeah, you're going to be really fast, really strong, but you're going to be expected to have morals and take other people's survival above yours? Or you could go for Riot, who gives you all the antizin and food you could possibly need, but you need to kill people and rob people for him. And around this time as well, bombers will begin to show up, and then I think about a week after then, that's when Kyle Crane shows up. So that would mean that's when the Demolishers and all the big guys, the goons, and show up. They show up and they destroy things. So initially, it's going to be hard to survive, and then it's going to get harder to survive. Well, initially, it's going to be really hard to survive because they're all going to be runners, right? They're all going to be virals. And then it's going to get easier because they're going to start turning into biters. But then nighttime, it becomes a big issue. Really big issue. Bigger than it was before, where the virals would turn into runners. But no, this is worse. After that, factions that you need to join, depending on which faction you join, is imperative to your survival. If you choose the tower, there's going to be way less resources for you, most likely. And if you choose Rias, there's going to be more resources, but you're probably going to go to hell, for one. So that's going to be fun. Or you're going to fall into a deep depression because you are doing nothing but rob people like a psychopath. So it's either mental health or physical health. Which one would you rather have? Now, me personally, I'd pick Rias until Crane shows up. Then I'd switch. But let's say you don't know that Crane is a GRE operative and that he is, like, killing everybody who is working for Rias. Good for you for living under a rock, I guess. You're going to die. Now, what do you need to deal with in the 28 days later outbreak? Packs of running zombies that are incredibly angry for no goddamn reason. And they are going to, if they even see like a bit of you, they're going to know it's you, and they are going to like throw themselves at your house until it is nothing but rubble or you're dead. Or one of them. It's unironically, I feel, and they don't stop running. They don't turn into shamblers, and actually, I'm pretty sure they evolve to have alphas of packs. So even if you do survive, there's like, it is like the hardest environment compared to both of them to survive in. In Haran, you just need to like get in a safe house and keep it like going and don't get bit by one infected when there's groups of them, like which is why it's a parkour game. You need to stay up, so you need to learn how to do all that if you want to survive. But you also most of them are slow during the day. And 28 days later, it's just all people. It's just all basically people sprinting at you and tearing you limb from limb and eating you. So like I feel like I don't know, man. I'd rather take Haran. I'd rather fight a volatile than fight a whatever the fuck that is. Jesus Christ. Like melee fighting isn't even in the question with the 28 days later zombies, because like you get a drop of blood anywhere in you, you're just dead. It's over. It's way too infectious for it to be like a survivable option. I feel like I don't even know how anybody would survive the 28 years standpoint. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how anybody survives that long in this infection specifically. You know? So, like, you kind of fucked if you picked England over Haran, because at least in Haran, there's most of the zombies are pretty weak. Like, yeah, they have the defense of a human being, but they're also really dumb, and they're shamblers, and if you just don't go out at night, you should be fine. Dying Light 2 is not in the question, by the way, because that is the most survivable form of the infection. You just need to stay in the sun, so, like, boo-womp, I guess. So, Dying Light 1 is probably the best choice here out of the two that we have came up with. Just because of its survivability again. But yeah, I'm going to probably churn these types of videos out a lot now because they work. So yeah, this is why I'd pick Haran over England. Hope you enjoyed, and please subscribe.